Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial how to model a series of rings with gems and prong settings in Shaper 3D. In this video I will start with the basic layout of sketches and then how we can build a masterpiece, make all our copies, and then bring everything into the visualization tool, add materials, and create really nice, stunning, and dramatic looking product presentations. And with all that said, let's do it. Before we get started, let's make sure that millimeter is our unit system and we have all our snapping options turned on. We will start with a side view of our ring. Go to the right view, then sketch, circle, and from the origin, we will create a circle that is 10 millimeters in diameter. That's the opening of the ring. And then we will create a second circle, 12 millimeter. That's the material thickness of the ring. Very good. Our first sketch is done. We can go into a three-dimensional view, zoom in a little bit, and this profile is what we later would select to extrude out the first part of the ring. But before we do this, let's go to the front view. Go to sketch, and now we will create the sketch that defines how the ring looks from this view. So again, from the origin, I draw a line down, 6 millimeters. Millimeter to the right, a little bit up, then kind of like diagonal to the upper right corner, perpendicular to the left, perpendicular down, and I finish the sketch by closing it and drawing a line to the origin again. Escape. To stop drawing, the midpoint we would like to lock so it doesn't move. Select the midpoint and lock it. Now all vertical and horizontal lines we can give a horizontal vertical constraint. Then this line will be 3 millimeters, that is correct. This is 6 millimeters, that is correct. And the small line down here, this should be 0.75 millimeters. Very nice. From the midpoint to this point here, I would like to have a horizontal distance of 1 millimeter. So I enter 1 for 1 millimeter, and then I will select the horizontal orientation for the dimension. There you see, this is now the horizontal direction. These two lines I would like to be parallel, and then this line to this line will be perpendicular. This line I would like to be 1.5 millimeters. Very good. Now, the last thing to define is how far this is rotated. We can easily define this by selecting this inner line and the center line, and then for the radius, we type in 155 degrees. Very good. This line can also be a little bit bigger. It should be above 6 millimeters from the origin. Okay, so with all this done, we can now go into a 3D view because now we have all the sketches necessary to model the ring. I will start by this half Y shape and extrude this a little bit to the back. Then I select the front face, extrude this a little bit towards us. And seen from here, you see it just has to be wider than the ring sketches. Then I will select the profile of both ring elements, so it's now a complete included ring, and extrude this to the right side. And then instead of making a new body, I say I would like to have the intersection. And the moment we do this, you see the extrusion then gives us the result of the Y volume and this ring volume. Very good. To make things a little bit easier, I turn on the item list and hide the sketches. Now we have kind of like 1/2 of a ring. We can double tap it and then go to More and Mirror Copy Over. Select both bodies and then with Union we fuse them together. There's now actually our raw complete ring. See, very easy. This has very sharp edges. At this point, it makes sense to round these edges. So I will select those horizontal edges here and then round this. 6 millimeters will be good. And after I stopped dragging this out, I will click on the gear icon and specify this fillet to be G2. This will make the shape a little bit more fluid. It's very nice later in the visualization to have nice reflections and transitions. With these outer edges filleted, now we can select, for example, these two inner edges here and fillet those two a little bit. G2, 0.6, that's very good. Very nice. Then we can also select these outer edges up here and we round those with 0.2 and G2. Very nice. Now we have this V-shape center part. Before we round it, we need to round these sharp edges here. So I select these two edges, bring this up a little bit, then G2, and we can play with the shape a little bit. So from a more V shape, I turn this into a more rounded soft shape. Very nice. So with this done, now we can go ahead, select all our inner and outer edges, and also there round these 0.2 G2. Very good. Now we have actually created a really nice ring. That's from this view looks like a V, a Y, I mean, a Y, and from here is nice and circular. So our finger will perfectly fit into there. Very good. Perfect moment to import and insert representational geometry of gems we would like to use, like a round brilliant, as you can see here. This is really good because I can verify how big is the stone, how big is the ring, and we can think about the stone setting. In this case, we will create a very basic prong setting. So I will hide actually the ring. I will show the front sketch. I will zoom in a little bit, go to sketch, rectangle, diagonal, and from this upper left corner there I draw a rectangle at the height of this stone. The dimensions can be 0.35, so 7 millimeter diameter, and for the height I will set this to 2.4 millimeters. The sketch does not have to be super precise because we will, via direct modeling, adjust the prongs later anyway. Very good. Let's close the sketch. We're going to a 3D view, select the sketch profile at the left vertical line, which will be then the revolve axis. Let's revolve it. Very nice. There's our prong. The top we will round later. We can do this via a fillet of 0.35 millimeters. That's half of 0.7 millimeter diameter. This dome is a little bit too close to the ruby. So select the dome face, then go to move, and we move this up by 0.25 millimeters. There we are. Very good. Okay, let's take a look at everything with the ring. Very nice. The prong is at the wrong position. Let's rotate this by 45 degrees. That's very easy. You can double click the prong, select the Z-axis. We started everything centered in our design. That's the reason why we can do this in this case. And then look at this. We're already in rotate mode, 45 degrees. But we need actually 3 more. And you can select the prong. Then check this out. We go to pattern and circular. There is a tool widget, which we move to the sketch, which is right at the center. And then here we can rotate our copies out. I would like to have minus 360 degree, so 1 complete turn and 4 copies. Done. Look how easy that is. You can verify how everything looks. The prongs are actually perfect. Size is good, height is good, and they don't go through the ring. Perfect. So at this point, we can clean up our scene a little bit. I will bring this body into here and then rename this into ring. And that's actually how easy it is to quickly then also create the prongs for this particular stone and this ring. But at one point, we also would like to create multiple patterns. So different or variations with different stones, etc. So this folder, I would like to multiply. So I go to the front view. I will select the pattern tool and I drag this one out. And you see, because I selected the folder, it makes a copy of everything that's inside the folder. That's so perfect. Let's go to total. We change this to spacing distance. I would like this to be 20 millimeters, and please give me 5 copies. Done. Very nice. So now I have actually 4 more copies. The prongs are also not fused to it yet, because when we put in individual stones, they all need different positions. All those I will select, put into a new folder. There we are. And drag this one out. Now this, for example, for all the other parts. And then here we have now everything for our first ring. And then the next step, then we can talk about how do we fuse the prong to the ring. So we can select the 4 prong bodies, then select the ring and do a union. There we are. Very good. We have very sharp edges. These I will select. I'm selecting 2 edges here. And then I would like this to be filleted by 0.1 millimeter. Based on your design, you can experiment with the values. And we will change this to G2 to just look nicer. Very good. And that's actually how easy it is to make the prongs. The only thing missing here, particularly when we bring this design into the visualization tool, is the prongs are actually intersecting the stone. We zoom in here. There we can see this. This is not good. So we need to cut out the space of the stone from the prongs. We do it in the following way. We select the stone. Then we go to Scale, Uniform, Copy, click on this, and then we say 1.01 and enter. So we just grow the stone just a little bit. In real life, I would cast the prong as it is, take a burr, and then cut out the kind of like this space for the stone to fit in. In CG, we have to do this a little bit different. Now I can select the ring, select this stone, go to subtract and remove it. I have keep none turned on. Click done, turn this off, and there you are. You see this space of that stone got removed actually from the prongs. And then with a little bit more of work, you can customize the prong setting for all the individual gems. So sometimes I move the gem just simply up and down, left and right, or I move them along 45°. I rotated them 45° and moved them 45°. Very easy. And then as you can see, I joined each prong to the ring and did the fillet and the cutting. Very good. And that's all. Basically, that's how to then very quickly with various stones create then multiples. We're ready to send our design into the visualization tool and explore actual materials. So let's go to visualization. Go to this view. Then with the mouse from the right, I draw a selection to the left. I can press Tab or B and select only the bodies. Now I have all 5 rings selected. Perfect. Go to change. Then I will go to metal and scroll down and select white gold. Click somewhere else, and the scale here I increase a little bit. The scale is pretty much an effect on the surface, how bumpy it is. It's not very structured, but not 100% machined perfectly smooth. So kind of like a scale like this will be fine. And then we can start working on creating representations of our gem material. For this, I will use a polycarbonate material. That's a nice material because it's nice and transparent. Looks very similar to the gems. When I click now this material, I can drag a slider up to there. And you see then this colors this material. So there's actually my ruby. Very nice. We can drag this material also to here. When I double tap it, check this out. So this should be aquamarine. Here is a hex field. There I type in 7 F, 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 and A, and enter. Click somewhere else. And you see now I have 2 materials. So when you adjust the material on one face or object, it makes a copy. Here we can go this way, select any copy, and then we change the hex color here. So this will be FFE90B, like a nice citrine. And here, the peridot will be E0F430. You can also look up these values actually on the web. And for the last stone, I actually just would like to have a very basic polycarbonate. Now we can make this also black. It does not have to be white. We can make this a little bit more transparent or actually more opaque with the slider here. This looks really cool actually. Maybe a little bit darker. There we are. Very good. So this is then actually how easy now you can create the materials and check out how everything could look. Capture then a much more interesting composition and representation of the fun of this design. As you can see, I stacked and moved all the rings randomly together. Being nicely lined up is good if you want to compare design features, but if you want to create something that looks dramatic and interesting and inviting, you need to have interesting visual compositions. And here we have a lot of play elements too. Now we started here with the gradient mood. Let's explain this for a moment. Also here we have the ability to rotate the light. You can also play with the strength of the light or have a drop shadow. This is actually set to the X and Y plane. And let me go back for one moment. You see how I moved everything above the ground plane. Originally with the sketch, everything was a little bit below, so I moved it all up. Going back to the environment, we also can create a nice colored background, give this background a good color, maybe something that gets similar also to the gold. Or a really dark environment. That looks also really great because it mystifies everything a little bit, makes the stones really nicely pop. And then to create the rendering, you simply go to capture. And that basically is, in a nutshell, how you can use the visualization tool to not only create material representations, but then also create really beautiful looking presentations of your design idea.